All right. Well, it looks like I am the only one here today. So we get to do this podcast style. I have never done this before, so this will be something completely new. And I'm looking forward to trying it out. So today, as always, we're going to have a meeting in several stages. We'll start out by going over the agenda here. We begin with the lightning round. That is where each person present goes over their current status, any roadblocks they're facing, and whatever the next steps will be. This is also an opportunity for people to discuss anything that's on their mind, things that they've been learning, any problems they're facing, not to discuss and solve them, but to mention them so that we can come back to them later. That gives everybody a chance to go through their weekly updates, to get everybody kind of on the same page. And then from there, we can decide which things would be the most beneficial to talk about. At least that's how it would usually go when we have a full slate of meeting attendees. After the lightning round, we'll go on to new business, any new stuff that's coming down the pipeline, information sharing that I think everybody needs to know about. After that, we can start going over any problems that we're facing, things that are in the way and that are stopping us from being effective and making the best use of our bootcamp time. After that, anything we've been learning that we just want to share with the group so that we can make sure we're all benefiting from one another's advancements and learning. And then finally, before we close up, then I'll go back over any action items that are coming up for the next meeting over the coming weeks, things that people have committed to focusing on or obligations to have done before the next meeting starts. So let's kick it off with the lightning round. My current status is that I think my background images are ready now, or at least they're almost ready. There's a few things I might do, but I realized that my remaining problems are not background generation, they're compositing related. So I think that gives me enough to work on, at least to use these backgrounds in my mood board, which is part of my next steps. Any roadblocks, excuse me, not the mood board, the style guide. So roadblocks. My house is being torn up a little bit right now. We've got a big chunk of kitchen floor that is ripped up in our pantry and downstairs that is making a lot of noise and also reducing the space where all the kiddos can play. So that's just an added distraction on top of everything else and consuming a fair bit of time as contractors go in and out. The other roadblock that I have is I was supposed to have started a new job by now, and they wound up delaying my start date. And so I'll talk about that a little bit later on and some of the things that I'm doing to address that and to sort of roll with the punches there. Finally, the next steps is to move on to my style guide. So now that I have the backgrounds, I'll have a unified look to all the slides. I can start picking out the UI elements that will go along with that. I didn't want to do those until I had the backgrounds nailed down because generating the backgrounds gave me so little control over colors and styles. I have a lot more precise control over the UI elements than I do over the backgrounds. So I thought it was important to get the backgrounds done first, and now I can move on from that. So, updates, new business. There is a meeting coming up on Monday. It is not a meeting, I should say. It's a live event, a live workshop, but it's all about AI image generation, which of course is now very interesting to me because AI image generation is kind of what I've been doing for the last several weeks. It's been a big area of focus for me. The tool that they're going to be using is Recraft, and I haven't used that at all yet. So I don't know anything about it. I'm looking forward to learning more about it. And that is coming up on this coming Monday. That is September 9th of 2024. So the link to that is in Circle, and I put that in our weekly update post. So I'm looking forward to that one. I really want to see what they have to share there, find out what it is that makes Recraft different from some of the other tools I've used. The other tools I've used have been FreePick Picasso and a lot of Midjourney. I've been really impressed by Midjourney so far. So on to problem discussion. It'd be nice if we could have some back and forth to talk over things that are going wrong, technical problems and things like that. But since that isn't an option for this week, then I'll just share some of the problems that I've been facing and the solutions that I've found. Now, unfortunately, my biggest roadblocks are not related to the boot camp. So I don't know how much help these will be to you, but I'm going to provide them to you anyway. First of all, if you suspect water damage in your house, don't sit on it. It's kind of a dodgy situation when it comes to insurance. So another thing is to make sure that your insurance does cover it. What I mean by that, make sure that your policy has a hidden water damage clause in it. Because if you don't have that little extension, then oftentimes insurance companies are really good about covering sudden things. A pipe breaks and there's water everywhere and, it floods the laundry room or something like that. The insurance company is usually pretty good to help out with that and to mitigate it and fix it. But if they can say that, oh, this was a slow thing, this is deferred maintenance, you had plenty of chances to fix this and you just didn't, then they might wind up denying your claim. And then you're on your own to pay for water damage. And in case you've never dealt with water damage, that means ripping out the flooring, renting dryers and dehumidifiers to dry out all of the underlayment and the subflooring, and potentially, if any rot has set in, replace any rotten subflooring. Hopefully, no floor joists are starting to rot. But if you've got any mold growing down there from all that water, well, now you've got mold mitigation to deal with. It gets out of hand really, really fast. And it's easy to not realize that it happened. In our case, the only indication that we had was that the floor felt a little uneven in front of our pantry. What turned out to be the culprit was that a condenser line from our air conditioner was not installed correctly. Not all of the pipe fittings were glued in place. Some of them were just stuck in there with friction. And over the years, they vibrated out. And with all of the heat this summer, lots of air conditioning, lots of condensate going through that pipe. And eventually the pipe failed. One of those joints came loose and it started pouring water down into the floor. But of course, it didn't come out to the front of the air conditioner where we could see it. No, it seeped back through the wall and into the pantry floor on the far side of the wall. So, fortunately, we did have the hidden water damage clause. The insurance is covering it, but the insulation under the house is soaked. There's like mold forming under the house, so they're going to have to clean that up. Now the moisture's been attracting black widow spiders under the house and all manner of just nastiness to deal with. So they have ripped up our kitchen and Very loud, noisy fans are running around the clock so that you have to yell to make yourself heard downstairs. It's a drag. And I would love to save you the trouble if at all possible. So if ever you suspect water damage, that could be from warping in, like buckling in paint somewhere on a wall, discoloration, any mold starting to form could be a sign of water damage. In the floors, you might have swelling or unevenness in the floors. Get it checked out right away, because if you don't deal with it as soon as you can, and the problem gets worse, your insurance company might have grounds to say, oh, this one is on you. And you don't want that. It gets really expensive. Like, I mean, you can't just cut out a piece of linoleum in the kitchen and replace it, because, the linoleum is 9 years old. They don't make that anymore. So now you've got to replace all the linoleum in the whole kitchen. It's an unexpected flooring replacement. It's a big mess. Save yourself the pain. So that is one of my lessons to learn. The job situation is my other one. I was scheduled to begin work on Monday. Yesterday, because Monday was a holiday, the 3rd. However, I was told last Friday that the client actually hadn't gotten back to the contracting company and given me a start date. So they were postponing my start date, and they didn't know how long. Now the client tells me, oh, it's good. You're still onboarded with us. You've got the job. We just need a start date. But they also mentioned that the thing that was missing on the client side was the hiring manager's approval. That does not inspire confidence, especially since there's a clause in the contract that says that my employment with the contractor is contingent upon the clients offering me the job. So if the hiring manager does not approve me for the job and is holding out for another interviewee, then there's a possibility that I might just be getting led along by the nose here. So I'm going to honor my loyalty to the company that has offered me a position if I'm given a choice between them and another role. But I'm also going to be looking at another role in the meantime. So I've got an interview with another role coming up tomorrow. So wish me luck on that. And well, hopefully that'll go well as well. I've got some preparation to do to make sure that that goes smoothly. But of course, I will honor my first commitment if given the choice, but also I need to take care of my family too. And if one person is willing to hire me and the other is not, then the one who is not hiring me doesn't have too much space to complain when I accept a job from someone who is willing to. So that's my approach. Feel free to send me a message any advice you might have on that, because I would be very welcoming of any counsel that anyone can offer. So learning sharing from the last 2 weeks. I've been working a bit in Midjourney. I mentioned that earlier. Midjourney is an AI image generation model. Now, they just got their website up and running so that you can generate images on the website. Prior to that, it's all been through Discord. You type in your prompt as a message to the Midjourney bot, and then it generates the image and sends it back to you as an image attachment. If you would like to help test out the web interface, they are currently allowing free trials subscriptions again. They weren't doing that for a while because of demand on the server. But now you can get a free Midjourney trial for like 25 images or so and give it a shot, see what you think. It's a pretty cool image generation model. I've been very pleased with it so far. So I do recommend checking that out if you get a chance. However, I have learned some limitations of Midjourney. One of the things that Midjourney is really cool for is that you can take an image, or you can generate an image and then pan it to one side or the other, change the aspect ratio, and it'll come up with new content to fill out the gaps. You can also zoom out, and as you zoom out, then it'll create new content, and you can even give it a new prompt to generate different content around the outside. It's a really cool feature. One of the things that I wanted to do, though, was to zoom in on a part of my image and then zoom back out and redevelop the rest of the image around it. And it turns out you can't do that. Midjourney does not like you zooming in on a part of the image and changing everything around it. However, you can select certain areas of the image that you want it to redesign, reimagine. And that you can do in squares or freeform selections. So you could select the whole area around the outside of the image and accomplish a similar goal. But zooming in and zooming back out is not a thing that it's really capable of doing. Another thing it can't do is take an existing image and modify it. It can use an existing image as inspiration to generate its own stuff, but it is definitely an image generation program, not an image manipulation or modification program. So you can modify what it is generating, but you can't modify an image that you've imported from somewhere else. So that was a little bit disappointing. I wanted to be able to take an image and then, like, say, zoom out and show more of it, expand on it, and things like that. So that was unfortunate. I foresee that I'll need to learn some new tricks in Canva. Specifically, I believe Canva has tools that'll let you cut an element from one image, like a character, cut them out of the background and put them into another image. And I'm going to need that to layer my set pieces in my images. So for instance, I've got the background images now. I'll need a desk in the foreground with a computer on it. And I'll also need to layer in my character, whoever the user's character is talking to. And I'll need to be able to place them into the backgrounds that I have now. And without learning Photoshop or, some fancy rotoscoping type techniques, or like carefully cut out the character and put them into the new image, I think Canva can do that with AI tools, but I don't know how to do it yet. By the way, Canva is an enormous program. I did not realize how big that program is. Like it's got the design area. It's got the design area where you can generate images and lay out pages and things like that. But it's got whole other portions of the website. It's got bazillions of plugin tools, and some of them are real. It's just a big bag of tricks. Some of them might be redundant, but I did learn that some of them are actually paid tools. For instance, DALL-E, the ChatGPT image generation algorithm, is built into Canva, and it's one of the tools that you can use in there. But normally, DALL-E requires a subscription. It's DALL-E. And it's the ChatGPT image generation tool. Normally, it requires a paid subscription to use it, but if you use it in Canva, you can use it for free. I learned that from a YouTube video by a channel called Wholesale TED. There was a YouTube video I found on 15 AI tools that are making people rich, is the name of the video. And I thought it had a lot of really fascinating ideas. Things like AI tools to change your voice when you're reading or podcasting. So if you get this recording and my voice sounds different than normal, you'll know that I've been playing with some of those tools I learned about. Finally, um, I don't know anything about Recraft. That I just heard about it today when I saw the meeting announcement for next Monday. So I don't have anything to share on that, but by the next meeting, I should. So that is, I think, an action item for me to learn about Recraft, see how it's different from the other AI image tools that are out there. Is it better for photorealistic image generation, or maybe like animated image generation? What is it that what's its angle, basically? Find out a little bit about what makes it special, maybe learn some strengths and weaknesses and so forth. And I'll let you know what I find out. But that'll be in another 2 weeks. So, another action item I have is to try out the Midjourney web interface. I'm still using the Discord interface, which is very convenient because you can use it from your phone as well. But I will try out the Midjourney web interface, and I will review Recraft for you. And hopefully I will have a report on both of those for next time. As a reminder, our next meeting is 2 weeks out. That would be September 18th. Hopefully I'll be working again by then. But so we'll see how much I'm able to do on bootcamp stuff until then. But unless you hear otherwise, you can expect to hear from me then. With that, I think that covers everything that was on the schedule for today. So as always, reach out if you have any questions, if there's anything I can help with, or if you just need a little cheering up, encouragement, and a shoulder to lean on as we all take this journey together. Have a great couple weeks, and I will see you guys next time.